this episode of Louisiana Film History Flashback, we want to put the spotlight on how dominant horse racing is in Louisiana.
Yes, 200 years ago, the first private racetrack was laid out by Francois Liverday on his plantation in what is now New Orleans Garden District. The first public racetrack was the Eclipse Track, built in 1837 on what is now Audubon Park in New Orleans.
So all these bush tracks I've heard about weren't official racetracks?
Bush tracks were like Cajun training tracks for both horses and riders, where even children could be the jockey. This is why Louisiana's had so many top-notch jockeys, such as Randy Romero, whose family is well known in the Louisiana horse racing world.
Growing up in the country, bush tracks were all the acres of bushes I had to cut down over the summer.
In horse racing, bush tracks were all different sizes and widths, and you didn't even have to have a human jockey.
In this episode, we want to take a look at the rise of the Romero family, who were the inspiration for the 1978 film Casey's Shadow. Anyone who follows horse racing knows about Louisiana's Cajun riders. Horsemen born and trained in Louisiana's Acadiana parishes have long dominated racing in the state and beyond. Since 1960, the Kentucky Derby has been won by a Cajun rider 10 times. 5 have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, including legendary jockey Randy Romero. Romero was born into a racing family on December the 22nd, 1957 in Erath, Louisiana. At the age of 9 and a weight of 75 pounds, he began to make a name for himself on the quarter-horse bush tracks. Every weekend, leading up to his 16th birthday, he rode the Louisiana Cajun Racing Circuit, which included Hebert Bounds in Abbeville, Coteau Downs in Coteau, Broussard's Racetrack in Maurice, and Carencro Raceways in Carencro. By the time he began his professional riding career in 1975 at Evangeline Downs in Lafayette, he was already a well-known and seasoned rider. In 1975, Romero rode a horse named Rocket's Magic to a third-place finish in the $1 million All-American Quarter Horse Futurity Stakes at Ruidoso Downs. Rocket's Magic was trained by Randy's brother Gerald and father Lloyd. Bucking the odds, Lloyd Romero put his 16-year-old son Randy aboard his prized quarter horse for the race. The saga of the Romeros, a father and 3 sons, from their racing beginnings in the bush tracks of Cajun country to the biggest quarter horse race in the country, became the inspiration for the 1978 movie Casey's Shadow.
Filling out his registration papers. We're going to call him Casey's Shadow. It's all right with you.
Casey's Shadow.
Pays him myself.
Mr. Patterson give you maybe $30,000 for that horse. For most people, he's just a horse.
He's not for sale.
Think about it, Lloyd.
This is a great horse. I know a great horse when I see one.
Yeah, you said the same thing about Eagle Leader.
And Run Spot Run, remember that?
And neither one of them could beat my dog with a full bladder.
For the Bordell family, he's the chance of a lifetime.
I got my one chance to be something. Get my name in the record books. Lloyd Bedell. Right up there alongside of Sarah Blue and God.
Come on, Lloyd, you haven't had your hands on anything with speeds that your wife ran on.
You ready to sell?
No, ma'am.
Needed $5.
$5? We aim in at $1 million place and you destroy his legs in a $5 match race? Pull down your pants.
Don't tell him if I cry.
I want you to talk your father into withdrawing Shadow from the All-American. I don't want him run with a bad leg. I don't want to break him down.
Dad won't run him if he's hurting, Mrs. Blue.
This hurts him.
The horse is going to win. He's not going to break down. Remember the $300,000 price on top of that, the sale price, and it's all yours. Add it up, man. You're going to be rich. After the All-American, you can sell him to Miss Sarah Blue for $1 million. You're going to buy the New Orleans Saints, and you're going to retire to Tahiti, where the women don't wear no tops.
Walter Matthau in Casey's Shadow. You'll laugh till your heart breaks.
Legendary actor Walter Matthau starred as Lloyd Bordell, who was affectionately called Coon-ass throughout the film. The sons were played by Andrew A. Rubin as Buddy, Stephen Burns as Randy, and 9-year-old Michael Hershaway in his first credited feature film role as Casey. The supporting cast also included Alexis Smith, Robert Webber, and Murray Hamilton. In addition, the production launched a search for a pregnant mare due to give birth in November 1976. Casey's Shadow was directed by Martin Ritt. Ritt was no stranger to filming in Louisiana. Casey's Shadow was the fourth Ritt project filmed on location in the state. The other films include Long Hot Summer in 1958, The Sound and the Fury in 1959, and Sounder in 1972. Principal photography for Casey's Shadow began on location in New Mexico and Louisiana in August of 1976. Filming locations included scenes in Carencro, featuring the Carencro Raceway Bush Track, and areas around Opelousas, including Evangeline Downs. Scenes were also shot on location in New Mexico during the actual Futurity Stakes. Carencro Raceways was located 6 miles from Lafayette and operated from 1968 to 1973 with 2 tracks, one oval and one conventional. It was one of the many such bush tracks located around the state, especially in Acadiana. These bush tracks were the unsanctioned informal horse races which became the training grounds for a number of notable jockeys hailing from Louisiana. At these tracks, boys as young as 5 mounted and rode horses until they reached an age to be allowed to race at sanctioned tracks. And it wasn't even necessary to be human to ride a horse at these races. It was not uncommon for chickens, monkeys, or other animals to be riding atop the horses, as is evident in a scene from Casey's Shadow. Of course, cast and crew enjoyed their time down in Louisiana, particularly the food. When Scott McDonough, unit publicist of the film, returned to Hollywood, he stated, quote, "One of the greatest pleasures of Lafayette was the food. My favorite spot was Dupuy's Oyster Shop in Abbeville. The best oysters and shrimp I ever ate." Walter Matthau reportedly said, "It's like I died and went to restaurant heaven." The soundtrack also features 2 songs by local favorite Dr. John. Casey's Shadow premiered in Los Angeles and New York on March 17, 1978. The film's end credits include a special thanks to Governor Edwin Edwards and his staff. This has been a presentation of Hollywood on the Bayou, preserving Louisiana's rich film history with books, prints, presentations, and exhibits. If you have questions, comments, or to learn more, you can visit our Facebook page or sign up for our Louisiana in Film newsletter, which is on our website, HollywoodOnTheBayou.com. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Louisiana Film History Flashback. Sue and I thank you, and we'll see you next time.